What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Rated Culture Podcast. My name is Brandon. I am your host. And today I have a good friend with me today who decided to do an interview with me. I want to introduce Mr. Omari Bryant, aka the Millennial Coin. What's going
Hey
on,
there, hey
Omari?
there.
Doing
Yeah,
good.
thank you so much for having me today.
Yes, no problem, no problem. Thank you for being here. Today, just want to give you a shout out for being here and just the topics that we're going to talk about: financial lifestyle, a little bit of business aspect, a little bit of your culture growing up, and just giving back to the community. As young entrepreneurs, and in our today's society. But today, I wanted to start off with we're in the middle of pandemic number one. Uh, Second half of 2021 going on. How's the pandemic treating you? How are you surviving?
So I will be honest, the pandemic was a little challenging for me in the beginning because I did get laid off a lot earlier than most.
Mm-hmm.
I was laid off in February instead of like around March, April, like everybody else. So I did kind of have to start the pandemic a little earlier, but I was already in the process of building my business. So it didn't hit me as hard as most people, with absolutely no income. And I actually didn't do unemployment until like the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
think of all those months I survived by just figuring it out on my own without, knowing when income was coming in. Um, for all those months until I want to say probably like until late November is when I started receiving some type of unemployment assistance.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
nice, nice. You kept yourself grounded for what it seems like. You with even with what was coming in, you were able
Hmm.
to just take that as the opportunity to okay, all right, whatever's
Yes.
coming in, and then you have your goals and your vision that you had in plan. Awesome.
Correct.
So
Right.
yeah, it's right. So that goes into number one, the inspiration for the whole millennial coin. How did that come about? How did you end up coming with that platform name?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So the millennial coin, I look at it as, a term of endearment for individuals that are wanting to seek entrepreneurship, but they're a little scared to do so. Our generation, which are millennials, are more susceptible to not want to stay at a job for 10, 12, 15, 20 years like our parents did,
Mm-hmm.
or, other family members that are older than us, the generation before us. So I wanted to go ahead and put something together that doesn't just say, well, I'm a baker, I'm a barber, I'm, kind of like a freelancer. I just
Mm-hmm.
wanted to make one general statement of a term, which was the millennial coin. And the millennial coin was born in that term basically just to show that doesn't matter how many different things that you do, you're a millennial and you're building your brand and you're getting your coin,
Mm-hmm.
which is a way of your way of life and how to build success. Basically, it wasn't like, oh, you have to be an entrepreneur to be a millennial coiner, and not necessarily. Like if you're a person that you have a little side business, you're selling different products or beauty products, stuff like that. I want you to consider that as your millennial coin
Mm-hmm.
as well, because
Okay.
you're looking at different sources of income, no matter despite the situation.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
A lot of nowadays in society, what I'm realizing, a lot of people are against the whole 9 to 5. And
Hmm.
so going into entrepreneurship, doing your own business, podcasting, whatever the case may be, that's definitely a new wave coming up for the generation that we're in now. Not everybody wants to work a 9 to 5. We also like creatively, it's just better to kind of like work for yourself, do your own type of management. So that's definitely inspiring that you started that movement for that. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So that was born on my Instagram, and I started doing trying to stay on top of daily doing accountability check-ins where I verbally say out my goals and put them into the universe, and basically putting them on my social media platform daily. Whatever task I have to do or whatever, and I put myself accountable for those things. And if they're not done, I make my viewers go ahead and make me accountable for them. So something, a lot better than, you being disappointed in yourself, that you have someone else that's there that's like pushing you
Yeah.
and encouraging you to continue. And
Mm-hmm.
then I started a YouTube channel as well, behind the millennial coin, because I was like, I am looking for content online that basically says, this is how I did it, and these are the complications I've experienced, not just these are the steps. I
Hmm.
wanted something that was going to show me, but also explain from that person's point of view. And that's why I started the Millennial Coins YouTube channel. So
Nice.
whatever business endeavor that I am doing in the future, we're going to show the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to show, the difficult side. We're going to show the complications that we've experienced. We're not just going to show all the good and how much money we've made.
Hmm.
We want to go ahead and show all the other experiences and candid reactions that most people would probably find out later and be like, well, I would have liked to known that I was going to experience that.
Right. Nice, nice, nice. So, question: what are some of your role models, business wise, growing up? Like, what was if you can name like one or two? Like, who inspired you business wise?
So oddly enough, and I'm probably going to get some backlash from this, I am not a Trump supporter at all. But actually, Donald Trump was a mentor of mine that I looked at as, because at the end of the day, we all have to agree the man is a good
Just
businessman.
business. Agreed.
He
Agreed.
he he,
Definitely.
he is a good businessman.
Mhm.
Is he also a pig as well, and many other different terms that we don't have to get into? Absolutely. However, the man does understand business and he knows how to make it happen.
Yeah.
Look at
Agree.
Apple. Oh my goodness. Apple has always been, a company that I always look to. Apple can just release something so simple that doesn't even have that many changes, but the way how they
Mm-hmm.
market it
You
just makes
market.
you want it.
Yeah.
And look at their marketing; it's so clean and simple. Now they're actually starting to add a little bit more color and stuff nowadays, but
Yeah.
before it was just always so minimal and simple, and you were like, I
Mm-hmm.
want it. I know it only has two other new things, but I still want it.
Right. Right.
And that is the type of branding that I've always went through. And the company that I worked for as well, Smile Direct Club, their
Small direct.
owner, father, became one of my mentors as well because the man was so smart.
Mm-hmm.
He was the head of marketing as well. He not only invested his own money into the company, but he became the head of marketing. And the marketing was so clean and simplistic. I mean, this company went from making, maybe $400,000 a year to shooting up to 200 million,
Mm-hmm.
within their second year of sales. It was just insane, just the way how the marketing was so clean. So when I look at businesses and when I look at, how to advertise, I look at things like that because
Right.
that is just, it really shows you if you want to win,
Mm-hmm.
that's the way to go.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
The importance. I'm glad you brought this up. The importance of mentorship. Can you
Hmm.
speak on that very very briefly? Like, as in, it's good to of course surround yourself with like-minded individuals, with people that have like they're already at their goals. Well, if you want to speak on that.
Right, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a barber mentor. So my barber, he's actually my mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And when I'm doing something and, say for instance, I'm doing a haircut and I'm having a hard time with it and I know that it wasn't the best that it could be,
Mm-hmm.
I always reach out to him. I send him a picture of it. I'm like, hey, what could I have done differently? What is some of the skills that you use? Things like that. And I think it's always good to have some type of mentor, especially into something that you're getting into new
Yeah.
and you want to perfect it. I think it's very, very important that you at least seek not even if it's a virtual mentor, even if it's to someone's YouTube channel or, you
Yeah.
find an online class or what have you, just to have that, that prospect to go back to. If you have questions, you can kind of either seek the information or ask a person.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely a huge advocate for individuals that want to succeed to
Mm-hmm.
have a mentor. It
Exactly.
doesn't have to be someone that is a millionaire. It doesn't have to be someone that is 110% into the game, but at least if they went through those beginning stages,
Mm-hmm.
they can at least share that with you so you can learn how to build from that and either not do what they did and still do better or continue what they did but do it better
Do
and even
better.
make more success for yourself.
Exactly, exactly.
Hmm.
The importance definitely of in my take on it, mentorships. It's also good to, I know they say internships and things like that, but a lot of times, a lot of like the skills and the traits that a lot of people go to school for degrees for, you can learn on
Hmm.
YouTube, or just yourself or online.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've kind of beat myself up. I spent about $70,000 on a dental hygiene degree.
Okay.
And if you go on YouTube right now, there's hundreds of videos that show you exactly how to clean teeth. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
spent $70,000 to go to school to learn how to clean teeth, and to be licensed for it, but you can literally go on YouTube and
Learn
learn
it.
probably like within a week.
Yeah. Yes.
The same skills that I learned.
College, that's a whole different topic. But nowadays, I feel like a lot of the degrees are like scams. So it's just like you
Pretty
can learn,
much.
yeah, and then they
Pretty
are.
much. I mean, in my opinion, it's modern day fraud. I mean, it
Hmm.
literally is. I mean, it's modern day legal fraud. I think that's exactly what college is.
Hmm.
Just like car insurance, it's just modern day fraud. It's
Yeah.
legal, yes, but it's modern day fraud.
Hmm.
It is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It is. It is. And another thing, like a lot of the high schoolers or the like these new generation freshmen coming in, they put so much pressure on get a job, go to college, get a job, go into this career. They get the degree, and then they don't even go into the career that they wanted to go in. So it's
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, I have about 3 or 4 friends right now
Hmm.
that I know that graduated from college
Yeah.
around the same time I purchased my house. So that was about 3 years ago, and they're still not working in their job field.
Yeah, yeah.
Still. Hmm.
That's but this the pressure from the high school. It's like I feel like a lot of, and this is it's a tip for anybody, but like right after high school, take that year or
Hmm.
two off to find yourself, find what direction you want to go into instead of just jumping into freshman year because
There's so many people are against that though. They're like,
mhm,
no, if you don't jump right in, you're never gonna
you're
do
gonna do it
it, and blah blah blah
real.
blah.
Mhm.
And I agree. I agree with that to a certain extent. If you're an individual that's not disciplined,
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
not for you.
not bought into what you need to do, absolutely. I definitely agree with that statement that you should start right away.
Yeah.
However, I mean, you just went through 12 years of school. I mean, what's a year off? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But, again, that person may not be as disciplined, say for instance, of like myself. I was out of school for a little bit, and I changed a complete career path
Yeah.
and was able to succeed and end up getting my dental hygiene degree.
Yeah.
So
It depends, depending on the career path. It depends on a lot of different things. But knowing what you want beforehand and not letting these colleges try to place you. 'Cause I feel like for me, like they try to place me and like, oh, do this elective, do this like car mechanics and things like that. And I wanted to go for business. I wanted to
right.
go for marketing. I didn't want to go particularly into car. And nothing wrong with that, but it's yeah, definitely having like a sense of direction. What are some of the goals for the long term you have regarding the millennial coin, or just for yourself if you want to just state? But like, what are some long term goals?
Okay. Well, the Millennial Coin, eventually, when it has a big enough following, my goal for it is to be its own brand.
Nice.
The
Yes.
Millennial Coin eventually will end up being a website where you
Mm-hmm.
could go on. There'll be a learning platform on there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, for a monthly membership, for you to go ahead and either learn real estate, Airbnb startup and start,
Yeah.
how to start a business.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be a barbering platform on there if you're an existing barber or if you're thinking about going to barber college, things of that nature. That is what overall the Millennial Coin will be eventually,
Yeah.
and that's why we're starting on YouTube now, to go ahead and at least start building a following. And for those individuals that want more hands on, they can get that content. But of course, it will be a monthly service fee for
Mm-hmm.
it. So that is the overall goal for the Millennial Coin. And of course, in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and show how to start an Airbnb up from start to finish, how to manage one,
Mm-hmm.
from start to finish, from someone that has literally never done any type of real estate or rental properties ever. So
Mm-hmm.
this will literally be a foolproof series that'll be coming to YouTube, and
Nice.
I'm very excited to see the type of response that we get from
Very nice. Very nice. And this is the vlog that you're gonna be for the
it.
platform.
Correct.
Yes. What's the name of this?
Correct.
So people if you want to promote that the name of the vlog so people can support. What's
So as of right now, we don't have any content specifically about Airbnb
mm-hmm.
right at this very moment, but it will be coming starting next month. So next
Okay.
month is when that platform will be going.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be promoted on my social media as well. So my social media is the Millennial Coin. It is exactly how it
Oh.
sounds with two E's,
Mm-hmm.
Millennial Coin.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find me on Instagram there, and in my uh, bio, there's a link, and you'll take you to both of my channels. So I have a personal channel that has life experiences, vlogs, and story times on there. For anyone that is interested into hearing about dental experiences, I have that on there as well. And then also, like I said before, we'll have the Millennial Coin that focuses on business building, business credit building, personal credit building, and also starting an Airbnb.
Nice, 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 nice. I like the sound of that.
Mhm.
We're gonna go into the barber career. So I see you have the Handsome Barber Lounge. That's the page for
Mhm.
just your barber journey for that. You want to go a little bit about, how did that come about?
Sure. So I actually have always had a curiosity in barbering. Believe it or not, oddly enough, dentistry and barbering, they kind of go hand in hand a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If a lot of people, if they don't remember back, back in the 50s and 60s, barbers actually did, perform different dental procedures, whether it was extractions or things of that nature, to go ahead and help get people out of pain if they couldn't go ahead and get to a dentist.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting how they kind of correlate. And I always had a challenging experience going to the barber as a kid
Mm-hmm.
and getting my hairline either uneven or taken back too far, or one of those awful experiences. You go to a barber, and you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
as I got older, I started experimenting with not wanting anyone to touch my hairline, so I started doing my own hairline.
Yeah. That's straight and
From
simple. Straight and simple. That's how you do it.
right, from using the eyebrow shavers
Mm-hmm.
to getting my own little personal trimmer, and I
Yeah.
used to shape myself up,
Yeah.
and was I very good at it? No, but it was a start. So when I first moved here back in 2014, when I moved to Florida, my aunt told me that she would cover a trade for me if I wanted to go to trade school. So I was like, sure, what's the name of the trade school? So she ended up saying Irwin Tech. She said Irwin Tech is like one of the best in Tampa, and it's not very expensive. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
sure. So I went and I signed up for a barber class. And needless to say, make a long story short, I lasted in there for about 4 months.
Okay.
It was overnight, evening classes, and I worked during the day. But I just knew that's not where I wanted to go. Like I
That
wasn't
wasn't
looking at the
direction.
long term. Now, if I would have looked at barbering the way how I look at it now,
Mm-hmm.
I would have known that I would have made it very far. But I was so focused on wanting to go dental
Yeah.
that I just kind of was just like, eh. So I
Mm-hmm.
dropped out, and I went full time into dental and became a dental assistant, and then
Mm-hmm.
segued into starting my dental hygiene degree. So
Yeah.
I went and I didn't finish. I didn't get licensed. However, I did go ahead and I did learn that I did enjoy cutting hair. I did.
Yeah.
And fast forward, like literally 6 years later, now I'm cutting hair.
Nice, nice. And I want to at one point, there's a lot of, and what I just found out, there's a lot of like personal in-home, especially because of COVID, in-home
Mhm.
barbers like literally cutting out of their hair. And shout out to them because it's kind of, especially now, going to the barbershop now during COVID is a
Mhm.
whole process. Like you gotta have to do not interview,
An
appointment,
appointment. Yep.
or they can have them as people in the shop and things like that. So
Hmm.
shout out to the personal barbers that are doing it right at their home. Like they're doing
Right.
Bookski. I think Bookski is an app that you can,
Booksy. Yep.
yeah, you can do your appointments on there, have your clients through there. So this is definitely interesting that during a pandemic you open up this venture for barber, and you're continuing to do it. You have your own clients, you have your own clientele. You're not, a shop doesn't have to pay you, or I mean, sorry, you don't have to have a percentage out of a
Right.
shop. You're
Exactly.
still having that like no entrepreneurship mindset. So yeah, definitely shout out to that. I just wanted to bring that up. That
Absolutely.
it's a whole wave of just new barbers just doing their own thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, that's how I started as well. I started right here in my house. I have an extra room, and I turned it. It's right next to the front door. It was very convenient to just go ahead and turn it into a little barber shop. So I
Yeah.
have a little barber shop in there, and it has to work. There's a TV in there. There's a beverage fridge in there, comfortable chair. Good conversation, and you get a great quality haircut. So
Yeah.
I'm looking to later on down the line more than likely later on this year, early next year, we will be opening our first physical location, the Handsome Barber Lounge. And later on, I'm looking to franchise my brand, to go ahead and take my vision and what I think a barbershop experience should be,
Yeah.
and making it mainstream for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So they can learn the type of techniques that I'm using to help build clientele, how to maintain clientele, and how to build it quickly like I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you see yourself maybe eventually opening up your own shop, or have a team, or is this do you
Yes,
okay.
yes. So I do see. Yep. So I am opening a shop,
Mm-hmm.
and
Nice.
eventually end up franchising that brand. So I
Oh,
will open up
nice.
the shop. I will be just starting off as a manager. I don't plan to be behind the chair.
Mm-hmm.
After that happens, I'm not saying I'm retiring, but I'm not cutting hair full time
With time,
anymore.
yeah.
When that happens, yeah.
Hmm. I feel like, it's my opinion, I feel like a lot of shops they limit the barbers.
Hmm.
And I might be wrong. I know some barbers
Yeah.
just they have to, you're working stuff like that. But I feel like they limit you guys so much on like the potential to grow. So it's just like, no,
Yep.
don't overdo
Yep.
it. Stay right here. Just cut
Yeah.
for us. Don't try to branch
Yeah,
out. And
you're
yeah.
you're you're absolutely right, because you have to
Mm-hmm.
think of it this way. That person, whether they're getting booth rent or if they're receiving, a commission, which is the way to go. Especially these days. That barber, especially if they're really good, can be bringing that
Yeah.
shop in a lot of money. So they want to keep them. So here's the difference. I'm not going to give too much information, but
Mm-hmm.
my plan is for those barbers that do want to go further, they can go ahead and open up their own physical location with the Handsome Barber Lounge
Nice.
brand.
Nice. Okay.
That is the overall goal.
Mm-hmm.
So the barbers don't feel like this is not their final home, or they want to go out on their own. They can't do it. They absolutely can.
Nice.
That's something. If I see the eagerness, this will be, of course, later on, but I am in the works of creating a blueprint of what that looks like. Like how you build your way up.
Mm-hmm.
You do this,
Mm-hmm.
and you're ranked so high, and then you're able to go ahead if you would like to open up your own franchise.
Yeah. Nice,
Mhm.
nice. I like how you're gonna network and collaborate and let others also have like that their shine too. And it's just not just like I'm this barber, this is mine. Like no, other barbers, other people can collaborate with you. I do like that. That's good.
Right,
That's good. And that's
right.
good for growth too, for expansion with your platform for that. So as in it's everybody's getting the credit. You're getting the credit. They can show
Exactly.
off their stars. So nice, 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 and especially within the Black community too. That's just it's not just always competition.
Right, right,
Yeah.
exactly. So we're eliminating the competition
Mm-hmm.
altogether, because the Handsome Barber Lounge is something that's going to be completely different. It's not a normal barbershop feel at all.
Yeah.
I mean, just but my whole vision for it, it's not going to be the traditional shop feel. You're going to come in, you're going to feel appreciated, you're going to feel like a king sitting on a throne.
There you go.
That is our vision. And the way how I treat my clientele. My clientele, they're more than a client to me. They're like
Yeah.
family.
There we
Yeah.
go. There we go. And that's I like to have like that personal relationship with my barber. Does that make sense?
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
definitely, definitely nice. We kind of get it a little bit into a little of the financial tips, as in like how are some advice on how to survive, maintain through this economic hardship that we're going through. What are some
Yeah.
good personal budgeting ways to like maintain your finances like right now? I know this is kind of
So,
far fetched, but what you got there?
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, like I told you before, it
Mm-hmm.
for myself, I
Mm-hmm.
take risks. Some people are not okay with taking those risks.
Mm-hmm.
You do have to kind of take some risks to be able to maintain,
Maintain.
to have what you need and have also what you want. So,
Mm-hmm.
one thing I will have to say is, going into an entrepreneur lifestyle is something that you have to look at by literally the hour.
Okay.
It's not something by the day or by the
Yeah.
week, or
Yeah.
like a normal job. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking at it by the hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I literally look at my time as money. Like it's exactly what it is. So if I know that I have X amount of clients for the day, I look at how many clients I have. Okay, I look at how much money I'm making in that hour
Mm-hmm.
and trying to make a goal. And then I look at it by the week. So how much money am I making by the week? So, it breaks down literally to the hour, the way how I have my budgeting. Um, and every week I have a set of bills that I know that I have to pay, and I look at, okay, I look at it as a problem. How am I going to come up with the proper equation to solve this problem?
Yeah.
Whether if it's, okay, I got to pick up 5 more extra haircuts. All right, that means I need to ramp up the advertising. I need
Mm-hmm.
to go ahead and get out there. Or is there something else that I do, because I'm somewhat of a freelancer. Okay, I see somebody's asking on Facebook, oh, they want a cake made. Perfect. There, that could be the extra set of income. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I said some people are not willing to take the risk that I take with
Yeah.
my budgeting plan, but
Yeah.
I'm willing to do the work behind it.
Right.
Oh, do I need to go do some DoorDash or some Uber Eats for a couple hours to go ahead and make some more,
Extra
you,
coming in.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
some individuals are not as willing to do the work like I am, but when before I retired from dentistry, I would just say, okay, well, I'll work Monday and Tuesday next week. I'll go and ask the temping to see if I could work,
Yeah.
to kind of offset, what if I was short on something.
Mm-hmm. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I'm noticing, and if I'm wrong, a lot of people, especially now with unemployment and just like they kind of had
Mm-hmm.
a break, that I feel like a lot of jobs are hiring, but it's like the lower tier jobs. So it's
Right.
like you said,
Exactly.
Uber, DoorDash,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, like it could be delivering. I feel like a lot of people got too laxed on finances coming in from the government that the whole work ethic is gone. I know pandemic shifted.
Yeah.
The pandemic shifted so
I mean, the
much,
work ethic
but
was already gone before the pandemic. So, I mean, it just kind of kicked it into high gear because it's enabling people to stay home and do absolutely nothing. I mean, I am a firm believer in this. This is the first time ever in my life that I've ever received unemployment. I am grateful for it. It has been helpful. Do I plan to be on it for the remaining of the time that it's available? No,
no,
I don't.
yeah,
I'm actually in the process of going to go ahead and sell my home because I'm going to sell my home to go ahead and help fund my future.
hmm
And a lot of people kind of look at me like, "Ooh, that's a big risk." Yes, it is a big risk, but I'm willing to take that financial risk because I know that I'm going to make a profit,
yeah,
and I can use that profit to help fund the other things in my life that I want to do. So what? It's a house. It can be easily replaced. It's not. I'm sure it's probably not the first and the last house I'm ever going to buy or a piece of property. So I'm okay to do that step.
for that step, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like there's like a shortage of, how can I say, um like, well, I'm gonna say work ethic, but like nowadays, like, do you feel like people pretty much are they're just depending on the unemployment and the
Oh
loans and people
yeah,
like that's okay. I know a lot of people
absolutely.
did unemployment fraud, or there's a lot of unemployment
Mm-hmm.
fraud going on. That's probably the
You're
reason
right.
why, I don't know if you heard this information, the government is shutting down, or they're going to stop unemployment benefits. I think June, middle of June, like later June, because
Mm-hmm.
and now you have to apply, when you apply for unemployment, you have to show that you work or applying for
Right.
stuff. I guess my question is, a lot of people just using that as vacation money and not have a set
Yeah.
plan. Do you feel like it's a lot of that? Okay, it's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
A
I
set
mean,
plan.
you see it everywhere. I mean, like
Mm-hmm.
gas stations, just like fast food places. Even if you notice, if you're getting your bag of food and there is on the front of it says, we're going to give you a $2,000 sign-on bonus
Mm-hmm.
for coming to work here. I mean, they need help that bad.
Yeah.
Um, and I look at it as, like I said, I didn't get on unemployment until the end of last year, and then I started working. I worked, so I didn't receive unemployment during the time I wasn't working, and then I stopped working. So that's why I'm back on it again.
Yeah.
However, I do feel like for certain individuals, yes, unemployment was definitely something for them. And I think those are the people that have, compromised immune systems. They just don't have the means to go back to work right now. Their kids are at home or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But for the records amount of people that are on unemployment that are willing and able to go back to work, I would never want to put my own foot in my mouth and say, well, everybody should go back to work, because I wasn't a firm advocate up front for people going back to work. I was very petrified to go back to work
Because of
in the
COVID,
beginning of the
yeah,
year.
with COVID and
Yeah,
everything,
because of
yeah.
COVID, and especially, I'm working with people that have their mouth open.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have to say it's everyone's own personal opinion. However, I do feel like this system is being abused.
Abused, yes, that's the word.
But you gotta look at it this way. I mean, if you have the opportunity to just sit at home and you have income coming in and you don't have to worry about getting kicked out because there's a moratorium, can you blame them?
Right.
What I mean? So,
Mm-hmm.
but are these people being smart with the money? No. I can see if you're sitting at home, you're starting to build your business, yeah, you're collecting your unemployment. You're like, okay, I should be done with unemployment. By the time when it's done, I'll be able to have a steady amount of income I can make on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, absolutely. Mm-hmm. But if you have literally no plan, you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to work when it's done.
Right.
Like, what kind of what are you learning from that besides mooching off the government?
Mm-hmm. I know we had our own like separate conversation, but I like you brought up a point that your unemployment is like that's just extra income for you. I do like that, and that's how you would think that most people would look at it like that. But I mean, the pandemic was a vacation for some. So
it was, and it was
saw it
for
as
the
a vacation.
scammers. And if you wanted to be a scammer, that was the best time.
The best time. Mm-hmm.
And just I don't want to touch too much on the PPP loan fraud, but all I have to say is, wow, I did not know people were that dumb.
Yeah, especially for that loan. And once the IRS get a hand of you for that, it's over with. It's over with. So, how do you feel?
Busted a girl down here in Bradenton, not too far from where I am, and they got busted for $3.5 million. How much money they were getting in and charging people a $500 application fee or whatever, and you had to pay them so much back or what. It's
insane.
Lot.
Yeah,
it's insane. It's insane. And I mean, and funny enough, some of the people that they were looking for were actually like literally like down the street from me. Like that. That's how. Yeah.
That's how serious it was. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and this wasn't like sheriff's department. No, these are the Secret Service, the feds. So,
how do you feel about credit? Like maintaining credit cards.
So the pandemic has pretty much destroyed everyone's credit. At least most people that couldn't keep up afloat. Credit has always been a challenge for me. It's something that I do know how to maintain very, very well. I used to have a credit repairing business, and I used to help people get to their financial goals all the time, but I didn't always pay attention to my credit. But I was always more interested into business credit versus the personal credit world, because personal credit limits you so much. There's so much more things that you can get with business credit versus you can get with personal credit. So I'm a firm believer, of course, in still working on your personal credit and still maintaining a pretty decent credit score.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely more of an advocate for building your business credit and getting everything that you want in your business's name.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it has like the leverage for the business.
Exactly, because if your business goes under, you're still good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can start a business over. You can build it from the ground up again. Yourself, it's like you're trying to get yourself out of that hole forever.
Yeah. Growing up for me, and I wish in high school, I wish they would have taught more credit. Learning about credit. A lot of us, or in my generation, they did not. They had very little. They talked about like finances for like credit, but if
it's literally non-existent. It doesn't get discussed at all.
Yeah, growing. So my lessons came from paying back credit, paying off credit cards, or just like because I had the limit. And so I was just spending just unnecessarily. Like I used it for like car repairs where I could have used it for like gas and things like that. So yeah, I wish there was some type of class, a better class, or it's like required for everybody to, even in college, to like learn credit. Because if that was the case, a lot of people probably would be smarter about their decisions, go into business more, take more risks, like you said.
Right, right.
Yeah, long
And
term.
that's why I said, eventually I would love to have the platform of the Millennial Coin more of a
Mm-hmm.
mainstream use. Maybe one day they could use it in schools. That's
Mm-hmm.
something that I would love
Yeah.
to partner with school systems in the near future
Yeah.
to share that platform so students
Nice.
can learn, how to start a business, how
Mm-hmm.
to do an Airbnb business if they want to.
Yes.
They're interested in cutting hair,
Mm-hmm.
or cosmetology, whatever the case is, or dental. Make so many different platforms. So if they're interested in any of those, they
Mm-hmm.
can use the Millennial Coins platform.
Nice. Nice. Sidebar. Have you ever heard of Dave Ramsey?
Hmm.
He has the financial university that's like online and
Yes,
that's like that.
yes.
But love him, by the way. He's great. The way he breaks it down is awesome, and it's
Hmm.
almost, it feels like a sermon, like a church sermon almost. Like,
Hmm.
but um, a lot. I feel like the Millennial Coin, like you got, or for your platform, I feel like that's gonna reach up to that level, like as in giving people the
Right.
financial knowledge, piece, tools, kits, tests, take home tests. They do a lot of tests and kits like that. I feel like that is, well, just a financial type of uh just education for people
Hmm.
to grow on. I feel like that's definitely needed right now. So, with that being said, the Airbnb business, I want to talk a little bit about that. That's definitely interesting because, as you see, Airbnb is growing. I'm an
Right.
avid user myself. Never hosted, but definitely, I've noticed that private hosts have like their own, their home, whatever, and then I have seen that third parties have come and rent, they pay out the rent, the space, whatever, and then people pay through there, and I guess they get their percentage. But
Right.
so I see that you guys are with our friend Shaquan. You guys are also going a business venture with opening up you guys' Airbnb business. Now, how did that? If you can talk about that, how is that? How did that come about? Like, what is this? What was the decision going into Airbnb? Going to Airbnb.
Sure. So, I mean, this is something that Shaquan has brought to me
Mm-hmm.
since last summer,
Okay.
and he's been looking and interested into starting that. And I've always had my eye on Airbnb. I even thought about maybe trying it for
For
myself from
yourself.
my house because the Super Bowl was held here in 2020, and I thought about when it was coming. I was like, shoot, I can just take a trip and go somewhere and just Airbnb out the whole
Mm-hmm.
house, and make my mortgage payment that month. However, life has its own plans and it didn't happen
Yeah.
that way. However, I was always interested into starting an Airbnb and to hear Chiffon talk about it and how passionate he was and how much he was invested to get started and
Yeah.
his goal sets and his vision that he had for it was
Mm-hmm.
very, very bought in. So I joined in as a partner also as an investor, rather, I should say, a partner and also an investor to help him throughout this journey and also to get it off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about it, it's literally, it is a challenge to get started in the beginning because you have to get that yes. It's getting the yes for the property
The
to
property.
get started.
Yeah.
We've looked at lots and lots of different properties and stuff like that. But of course, there's always a cost. You
Yeah.
do have to have the funds ready, and
Mm-hmm.
and that's and that's kind of what's at our standstill at this moment is that we've done a lot of research though. We've also looked into a woman that's on YouTube. Her name is Noelle Randall, and she has a wonderful platform on YouTube that talks about and walks you through lots and lots of different business ventures. And we've reached out to her company, and we're actually going to be doing some real estate education and possibly looking into seeing if they can go ahead and help us with the funds to grow it even more in the future
Oh, nice.
based off of what they tell us. So that's what we've been working on with that. Like I said before, the content on YouTube will be coming for that really, really soon.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go ahead and, like I said, it is a vlog style, so it isn't going to be, breaking everything down, step by step, but it is going to show exactly what the
What the
process
thing
is.
is, yeah.
We're not going to talk at you. We're going to go through the experience so you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as we gain our Airbnb, we get our our customers that stay, I'll have the vlog camera right there ready,
There you
ready to
go.
open up the door.
Yeah.
This is how our stay looks. We're
Mm-hmm.
going to show every candid reaction that we have
Mm-hmm.
out there to show that, okay, this is what really happens with Airbnb.
Yeah, they just a side note on Airbnb, they have definitely. I stayed when I went to Chicago. It was like a third party
Hmm.
vendor that's that hosted this loft that I was staying at, and so they sent me an email, and they were stating that thank you for giving back to us. We're trying to help the community out, within the
Hmm.
neighborhood and things like that. So I feel like Airbnb is definitely partnering with like local neighborhood, other vendors, entrepreneurs, and real estate, whatever the case may be, they're partnering to, especially with COVID now, to kind of like keep people like incomes coming in, livelihood, real estate, because like a lot of people like evictions and things like that happen. So
Right.
there's a lot of empty apartments, a lot of vacant properties. So Airbnb is definitely, especially now with just this generation, like it's I don't stay in hotels anymore. I like the Airbnb experience because it gives it more personal. Makes
Right.
it feel like home. And I mean for the prices, depending, but it's also putting the money back into the landlord, the neighborhood, the building, the apartments, things like that. Hotels, just plain and it's just what it is. So
Exactly.
yeah, this is Airbnb is definitely a growing company corporation in itself. So I feel like you guys definitely best of success for you guys for that going forward. Do you see yourself, you and him, do you guys see yourself kind of like branching out, doing like your own, or is this going to be like a partnership as in going toward for, well, the vlogging, the documentation for all that, but like, do you guys see yourself as a team moving forward, or are you guys going to eventually do your own, like you have your own host, or and he probably do his own host, or just right now
I don't think we'll end up splitting it. I think it'll always be just
partnered?
together.
Okay, great, great
I
team.
like like I said, I'm just a partner and also an investor. So I
Okay,
don't
investor,
ever
yeah.
plan to go out and do it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But I am definitely all for the experience and definitely be able to gain the content from it as well,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to help others. So I'm looking at it as a platform to go ahead and help others,
Yeah.
basically.
Nice.
Hmm.
Nice. I like that. I like that. I love the fact like you're a man of many talents as in you dip and dabble in different industries.
Right.
That's great. Great. Um Another industry real quick I want to talk about. You said dentistry. You went into dentistry for a little bit. And
Hmm.
so how that was not your career choice. But you ended up maintaining that for a while. Did you want to give a little story with that and the dentistry? Because that's interesting. Because a lot of people, you won't hear a
Sure. I
lot about that.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I've been in the industry for 7.5 years, so
Mm-hmm.
it's my
Seven and a
longest career
half. Wow.
since I've ever been alive that I've taken on. I
Okay.
started actually before I moved to Florida. I was working at a dental office, just checking in patients up front,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like one of the many jobs I had at the time. I literally had maybe about 3 jobs before I moved to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very determined that I wanted to leave Rochester, New York. I didn't want to stay there any longer,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely enjoyed the office I was at because I used to go there when I was a kid. When I was officially in the States, I used to go there as a kid. So it was nice to actually work in the same office, work with the same doctor, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I always was interested to go to the back to see what actually really goes
What's
on
going
back
on?
there.
Yeah.
Besides being a patient back there, I wanted to actually see what goes on back there. I was very interested, and when I moved to Florida, I knew that that was something that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I didn't know exactly what role I wanted to play in the field because I didn't just want to sit up at a desk, even though that's what my first degree is in business. But I really wanted to do the hands-on portion of what they did in the back, and that's
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how I segued into that.
Mm-hmm.
And
A degree
I
is
mean,
required,
just
right?
just
You
I'm
like
sorry.
as a degree is actually required for the dentistry. Like you actually have to go as amount of
So for
years.
you to work in the back, yes. So you need some type of certification or
Okay.
degree to be a dental assistant, depending on the state.
Assistant. Okay.
Definitely need education and a degree for hygiene, and then of course, free to be a doctor, of course.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But as far as like the dental management side, no, you don't have to have a degree at all, or anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Have you ever thought at some point? Did you ever think about opening your own Dentistry, dentist. Oh.
Actually, I did. I have. I
Okay.
actually did want to open up my own dental practice. There was a point in time, Brandon, that I did want to become a dentist. I
Right.
sat long and hard on it, and I decided against it because it was just going to cost so much money for
Okay.
me to become a doctor. Yeah,
Okay. That's
yeah.
interesting. Interesting,
So,
because I know you.
if the opportunity presented itself later on in life, would I take it? Possibly,
Mhm.
possibly, but it would have to be really worthwhile.
Nice, nice. Well, the opportunity is still open for you if you really, could do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is. I mean, I'll say this: if it doesn't happen by the age of 35, then
No, no.
no.
Yeah, yeah, because especially like a black-owned dentistry. Oh, that would. I
hmm
feel like that would be interesting.
Now, mind you, I can
Yeah.
still open up that office. I
Mm-hmm.
can. I can. I don't have to be a doctor to own a dental office at all.
Yeah.
There's lots of companies out there that know absolutely nothing about dentistry, but they own
Yeah.
hundreds of dental practices.
Mm-hmm.
So it is definitely possible, but we'll see. You never know what the future may hold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. I like that. I will. Well, for me, like I went into business, so it's more like marketing. I was more of a marketing.
hmm
So now, like my career field, I work in the medical field. So it's just like I never visioned myself to go into a field a little bit as bigger as that. So with not dentistry, but like doctorate, nurse type of thing,
hmm
things like that. That definitely that industry is where the money's at. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
yeah. So
Right.
that for me, I would love to see more like doctors, more dentists, especially at the younger generation, come up, like go to like dentistry school, medical school. I think a lot of people are so reluctant on like the hospitals and like just just patient care that it's just like
Right.
as our generation, and I try to tell like growing up, the generation behind me to like dream big, dream smarter, have goals for yourself. Don't just be okay with the mediocre, as in like mm, I don't want to say just YouTube or something like really small, like like little small things. Uber is great, DoorDash is great, but like podcasts, write, photography, things like that. Creatively, like I would love to see more people just, if anything, from this pandemic, be able to grow from like their passions and things like that. I feel like the pandemic gave people time to sit down with themselves, hopefully sit down with themselves, goal, strategize, plan, things like that.
Right.
If you did not utilize this time during the pandemic, then we don't know when this is going to be over. So, because if you're not working, or what are you doing? What can you give back to society? That's in my head. That's what I'm thinking. But
Exactly.
yeah.
I did like that you touched on a very, very important word, a
Mm-hmm.
key word, which is mediocrity.
Mediocrity, yes.
A lot of people are very okay with the bare minimum, and that is something that I could never just be okay with. Like, I'm never okay with, oh, I'm just making $15 an hour. No, I
Mm-hmm.
always was looking for more.
More.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is what people lack. And I think that our generation is lacking
The
that. I
drive.
think that there's only so many of us, like
Mm-hmm.
myself, that are like minded like me, that are not okay with just being in a certain pace forever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people aren't just okay and content with just a lot of different things. And that's even gotten worse now around this time. That's why I said that the government's
Mm-hmm.
just been enabling people just to
Enabling.
be able just to collect unemployment just so easily.
Mm-hmm.
And now that it is being snatched away the way how it is, it's going to be a bigger challenge, because that doesn't necessarily mean that people are all going to run back to work
To
right
work.
then and there.
Yes. Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it has to be done tastefully,
Yeah.
but
Mm-hmm.
they're going to do whatever they want to do.
Right.
However,
Right.
do I see, the economy getting any better right now? Not really. It'll get a little
Mm-hmm.
bit better, but not. It's going to get worse again before it's going to get better.
What's your predictions for the rest of COVID? Do you feel like are we seeing the end, or is there another wave, or
I honestly don't see it
economy
becoming an
wise?
end at all.
Economy
If you
wise,
look at
easy
some
to.
of the travel restrictions, we're number one in the world. People don't want us coming to their countries and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. So, that of course damages, the world's economy because no one's traveling,
No
no
one's
one's
traveling.
putting
Yeah.
back into the world.
Mhm.
It also damages the U.S. economy because no one is spending the money that they normally would spend with
Yeah.
airlines or with travel. So it hurts. It's a
Hmm.
trickling effect. It hurts everybody.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say.
Hmm.
I was watching a couple of YouTube videos the other day that is basically saying that currency is going to change. It's going to change worldwide,
Mm.
and I don't think that the world is ready for it at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Like how they weren't
So
ready for the pandemic. Yeah.
yeah, I think currency, the way how it's going to change, it's going to shock a lot of people
Hmm.
because
Are you big on stocks, things like that, investing in your
yes,
stocks?
so
Yeah.
I'm not big on it, but I do pay attention to it. I
Okay.
do pay
Okay.
attention to it.
Yeah.
I do believe that what goes on in the world fluctuates the stocks as
Hmm.
well. So I am a firm believer of that. However, um, I do need people to take heed to what they're doing. They're not just putting their money into it and just hoping for it to grow.
Yeah.
I need people to understand that this is probably going to be your replacement money. Like
Yeah.
this is probably the money that you're going to have to use because your US dollar is going to be worth
Not gonna be
nothing.
nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
My family.
I
Yeah.
have a feeling that soon, if anybody's paid attention recently, if you go on Cash App and you're going to send someone money, there's an option for you to send it in Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
or
Yeah. Bitcoin. Yeah.
regular currency. So
Hmm.
those are the things that are slowly coming that if you're not observant
Yeah.
like I am, you
Hmm.
won't notice it. And it's kind of hard to say what's not going to happen when things are slowly changing that way.
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if banks start saying, "Oh, you can start depositing cryptocurrency into your account."
Real quick, Bitcoin. I did see that, and I'm educating myself on that. Bitcoin. Can you elaborate a little bit, like as in how does that work, especially for Cash App? Like that's and you can make the money back. That's I guess
Yeah.
what they're
So,
stating.
I mean, I'm not super educated to the T on it, but based
Mm-hmm.
off of what I know, it is another form of income. So I used to do Forex, international stock market trading. And the foreign exchange market, pretty much when you are cashing out of there,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes Bitcoin most of the time, depending on the app or whatever that you're using.
Yes.
And that's something you don't want to leave your money in too long because Bitcoin can change like that. It can go up,
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going down that day, you really want to get your money out of there because it can change so quickly.
Yeah.
However, I do feel as if that if people start at least putting aside some Bitcoin money, it'll do them some good in the future.
Yeah, I see that a lot. I wasn't actually sure, but as people were saying that they make money, they're getting money back from that. So
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's
Mm-hmm.
another way of
I mean, I have $5 sitting in one account on Coinbase, and I mean it, and from Bitcoin, and it has just growing. It
Mm-hmm.
went from literally $3, and
Yeah.
now it's at like I think $200 now. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just been growing. So I've just been letting some funds in certain areas just sit there and
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Yeah.
touching it right now because I know that eventually I'm going to need it.
I
Mm-hmm.
also see sidebar. Also see a rise in work from home
Mm-hmm.
opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I actually was interested myself, but I do see people. Well, they were doing it before, but they took advantage of the work from home thing. And insurance, healthcare, things like that. So many things are virtual based now. They need
Right. Well,
yeah
companies are realizing how much money they can save.
save
you
yes.
know
Mm-hmm.
and now, and especially with the fact of not only do you have to pay an employee, and this is how business
Mm-hmm.
minded I am. When you look at certain things, a brick and mortar business is very expensive. No matter how well it's doing, there's still that expense.
Yeah.
You have rent, you have utilities, you have you know all the maintenance and everything that goes along with it. You have to upgrade things. You have to update your marketing, whatever it is. Rent changes, along with the economy. Having an online business is so less overhead and saves you so much
Yes.
money. So
Yeah.
a lot of these companies are realizing, okay, well, since we really can't have people next to each other either way,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're also realizing, okay, we're actually saving a lot of money because now we don't have to pay. rent, blah 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 blah. So a lot of companies closed. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a T-Mobile building that was like off 75, and I noticed that they took the sign off of it because they're no longer there anymore. You know,
T-Mobile.
they went ahead
Yeah.
and sent everybody back home. So,
Hmm.
you know, I do see that being somewhat of a permanent thing for a lot of
Yeah.
companies.
Work from home. Yeah.
You know, especially wireless, you know, customer service. That will something that will certainly be more home based moving forward, just
Hmm.
simply because they know that
Save
the
some
over
money.
cost of overhead is
Yeah.
a lot less.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Hmm.
And even to me, like I probably should have caught that wave early on, but I do see
Hmm.
that yes, cost effectively, a lot of corporations are just changing, transitioning to just basically virtual, keep it virtual.
Right.
Um, a lot of healthcare insurances, places like that. Twitter, it was something like even Twitter. I think they were paying their employees great. I don't know if you heard that art. It was an article last year.
Hmm.
They were paying their employees really great to pretty much just operate from home. And so
Interesting.
it's hard now. Like if you look up now, it's a tight competition to try to work virtually based. But as we wrap up, do you want to get just to reinform the listeners where they can find you at? Your barber page, your business page, your blog page. If you want to give people your Instagram, give it like a
Sure,
recap
absolutely.
real
So my
quick.
main Instagram that you can find me at is the Millennial Coin, and that is with two E's.
Mhm.
The Millennial Coin. You can find me on Instagram, and then also the Handsome Barber Lounge. Same thing, the
Mhm.
Handsome Barber Lounge. You can find me on both of those, and then you can also find me on Facebook as Omari Bryant. So that's where I am. You can find me on those socials. I don't have a Twitter.
All right, all right. I want to thank you so much for just this wonderful interview and giving just the tidbits and information for the listeners. This is definitely interesting, and it's definitely knowledge for people to just consider on for the pandemic
Absolutely,
right
absolutely.
now.
Well,
Right there, of
definitely thank you for having me.
course, of
I'm
course.
always willing to share knowledge. So if anybody has any
Yes,
questions, they can definitely reach out to me on the
yes.
Millennial Coin um, as Instagram platform, or if you don't have Instagram, you have Facebook, you can reach out to me on Facebook as well. Just let me know who you are.
All right. Thank you, Omari, and I want to thank the listeners for tuning in, and we'll check you guys out next time.
All right.